I first fell in love with Bollywood through Aamir Khan's movies,
Wow.
PK, Three Idiots.
Yes, some
I fell
beautiful
in love with
movies.
and then it just opened up the world of Bollywood to me. So I'm pretty and he did I have trouble pronouncing it. The one where he's a teacher for children with special needs.
Tare Zameen Par.
Yeah,
Yes.
like that. Like
Well,
I
that's a
don't cry.
beautiful
I don't
movie.
cry in
That's a
movies. I
beautiful
cried
movie.
in that movie, and I've just been like I'm just a fan of him and the writing that goes into the movies that he does. So that famous Shah Rukh Khan quote where he's like, "Don't worry, it will all be okay in the end."
True.
And if it's
It's
not
not
okay, then it's not the end.
True.
So
Very true.
I live by the elements of that quote, and I really believe that we can work through our problems, and at the end, everything will be okay.
Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. Our today's guest needs no introduction. With a massive following of more than 20 million followers on social media across the globe, we have with us Khalid Al Ameri. Thank you so much for being with us in the studio, Khalid.
Nishad. Thank you so
Salam
much
alaikum.
for
Thank you,
having me.
thank
It's
you,
an honor
thank
to be
you.
here, man.
Yes, Khalid, what can we expect this time? You're in India, and every single time you're in India, we are falling in love with you all over again.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, what are you here for this time?
So I'm here mainly to, for lack of a better term, digest. But I'm mainly here for the experience of Mumbai. It's been a long time coming for us to come here. We're meeting a lot of people, understanding the market a bit better. Our the love and support that we've been getting for the Indian community, both from from three places: from the Indian community in the UAE, from the community, from obviously Indians in India, and from Indians around the world, has been incredible and grown so much over the last few years that we've decided to really come into India, immerse ourselves a lot more, understand the market, meet more people. So for me, this time in Mumbai is a bit different than my other trips to India, because when I've traveled to India before, it's always been about filming from the minute that we get here. So this time I've decided to sort of just
ease it in.
Yeah, just like experience it a bit more, because obviously when you're filming, it's all like a blur because you're focused on filming, you're focused on making the video. But this time I'm kind of just want to enjoy India, meet people like yourselves, connect more with the community, understand it a bit better, and then do a lot more work. Inshallah.
That's true. Khalid, tell me something. How do you balance your roles as a father, as a social media content creator, and also as a motivational speaker? How do you balance these roles in your life?
Yeah, I don't think there's much balance, to be honest. When you're looking in the world of being a creator. For me, there's always obviously my priorities at all times, which is family and work. I mean, they come first all the time. So like family are there first. Work is a very close second, because those are the things, number one, that bring me fulfillment, that bring me joy, that bring me happiness. And I think at the end of the day, when I look back on my life, when it all comes to an end, I'm going to look back and be like, do I have loving kids and loving family? And when I look back at the work, did it really impact the world and change the world? So for me, I try and dedicate a lot of time to that. Over the last year and a half, it's been a lot about my health, because when I first started in my role as a creative, you're starting, you talk about the numbers that we have now across our audiences, but people forget that we all started at zero.
True.
So when I started then, I had to prioritize, and that's where I saw that, work and family and work, those were the things that I needed to focus on. So my social life went out the window. My health, like personally, like taking care of my health and well-being, went out the window. Every day it was about how can I become better as a parent, as a father, and how can I become better as a creator, as a writer, as a videographer. So for me, I've just started incorporating over the last year and a half, maybe since towards the end of, it's been a year and a half since COVID. Yeah, towards the end of COVID, I started focusing a lot on my health and my well-being, eating better, doing a lot more gym and stuff like that. So I try and do that first thing in the morning. But when it comes to balancing, you just have to take what's most important in that day and prioritize that. So for me, if I wake up, if like I'm working on something and my kid needs me for something, then I'm there. Like everything else stops.
Wow.
But yeah, like it's actually a balancing act every day.
I understand.
That's what I've understood.
It's not easy, because please correct me if I'm wrong. I think you went 500 days straight with every single video a single day.
Yeah.
And I clearly understand when you say everything else went out of the window and it was just your priorities at that point of time. It's not an easy task at all. Okay. What inspired you to start sharing your stories and insights with such a wide audience?
Well, it was actually more for my time with CNN, with your team, when I had the opportunity to do that 1 month project of the Ramadan show during my time in CNN. It was I always believed I was like meant to be an entertainer. My parents would always see me as a kid and be like, yes, like whenever a camera came on, my eyes would light up. Hey, hi, whatever, So for me, I was always inspired and attracted to the idea of being able to bring joy to people's lives through entertainment. My heroes, again, I've said this many times before, like Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. Whenever I had a sad day at school, I would come home and they would be the ones that would make me laugh. And I always believed that was a superpower.
True.
For me, I always wanted to do that. Like I always wanted to do that. And through doing the show on CNN, I realized, I got to understand, like Becky Anderson, her team really taught me the importance of finding your story, finding your voice, producing something important, sharing it in a way that people can digest.
True.
making that sort of content that's easily digestible for people around the world to understand better. And again, something that's part of my whole team now that I learned through that time was the importance of building bridges through stories.
Wow.
Building bridges of understanding through stories. So it's something I always wanted to do, but always, as we see in our part of the world, when I graduated high school, there wasn't the platforms that you have today.
True.
There wasn't, all these platforms where you could share your videos and share your stories openly. You had to have like a TV contract, a movie contract or something like that. So I went into the normal job route that, parents in our part of the world kind of want you to go into. But then, when I had that opportunity with CNN, I took it and I never looked back. The
rest is history.
The rest is history.
Today we're sitting with 20 million followers with you.
Yeah, I never thought we would get to where we are today. And it's just...
Definitely.
But it's just that like, the work ethic, because I also remember during CNN there was a very strong work ethic, doing whatever you need to do to get that story. I was going around, people saw me as a presenter. I was actually in the background trying to get permits, all that stuff. So I understood really what it takes to tell a story, and I'll forever be grateful for that opportunity, because it was that was the moment that my life changed.
Definitely.
And because I had to quit my job to do that.
True.
And so I never looked back, but I also understood that social was a big part of every media strategy going forward. And that was when I realized that I did it there, I can do it again on my own, inshallah.
Very true. How do you navigate cultural differences and yet say something positive? How do you manage to do that in your concept?
I think, I've been around a lot of places in the world, met with different cultures, met with different, for me, I'd like to understand, religion and why people do what they do, why people follow what they follow. But I've also understood through these travels, through these journeys, through all these different religions and exploring their stories, that there's also a shared humanity, right? Regardless of what people believe in the privacy of their religious institutions, in the privacy of their homes, they all have this shared humanity and shared ambitions for their lives that connect us all. You and I don't know each other.
True.
This is the first time that we've met.
Yes.
But I'm sure that if I was to say, I'm sure you want to wake up in the morning and do work you're proud of.
Yes.
I'm sure you want to live a life with dignity. I'm sure you want to be a loving spouse and father. I'm sure you just want to help people and be kind. That's the common humanity. So I've realized that all of the places I've met, and I've been to all these different religious institutions in the UAE and around the world that are so different than the things that I believe in. But I also noticed that when I smile, they'll smile.
True.
That when they see someone that they love, they'll hug them and be happy. So for me, that's how you navigate it. Because I believe what I believe, they believe what they believe. But we are all connected on this earth by our shared humanity and love for life and a dream to sort of provide for the people that we love and live lives of dignity and lives that we're proud of, inshallah. So for me, I've always, that's the core of what I look for whenever I travel. And to be honest, wherever I've gone in the world, I've always found it amongst the majority.
Wow. Wow, that's a very beautiful thing to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Khalid, on that. So what strategies do you employ, when it comes to maintaining your authenticity or the kind of original content that you put out? What is the method that you use?
just be myself, man. Like, it's too exhausting not to be. Really, I mean, we have an opportunity where we could be entertainers in any way that we see fit.
Okay.
That's what social media provides us, right?
True.
We're not handed a script and a character to be. You can be whoever it is that you believe. So why not be what comes most naturally to you? And then obviously you take strategies from classic storytelling and classic writing
Of course.
to be able to sort of engage your audience a bit better. So for me, it's too exhausting not to be. People will be like, oh, is he the same behind the camera or when he's not on camera? I'm like, it's too exhausting not to be. So for me, I do the things that I naturally find funny.
True,
I make
true.
videos about the day-to-day things that I observe that seem funny or awkward to me that I believe can relate to people around the world. Like for me, I was always a huge fan of Mr. Bean because the entertainment that he was able to provide us all was able to go beyond the boundaries of
No doubt,
culture,
no doubt,
ethnicity,
no
religion, all of it that we can all relate to. Like when we see him not understanding what's going on an exam and trying to cheat, we've all been there, regardless of where you're
True
from. So for me, I always try and take that approach. Is I always try, like I'm always myself. And then I'm very, like as storytellers, as journalists, you're very, you observe things with a different eye.
True.
From that angle of a story. So I always try and do that and incorporate it into who I am as Khalid.
That's nice. How do you see the role of social media evolving and in shaping the cultural perceptions of the fostering empathy?
I think, we've seen this big growth of, these highly edited, punch your face content that I think is exhausting a lot of people now.
No doubt.
I think people need and want authenticity. I don't want to see the character of Khalid as much as I want to see how he's feeling, right? I think people connect with that because they realize that they're not alone.
True.
And I've realized that the videos that I've done that have really had an impact on people is when I've shared stories of things that I'm going through in my life. Now, I'm not saying I need to get in front of a camera every day and talk about the challenges of life. But what I'm saying is that I try and take the time to understand the things that I'm going through. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, people just want to realize that they're not alone. That they're not alone in their struggle. That they're not alone in the challenges that they're facing. And I think that is probably the most powerful tool that social media has. Not just for creators like myself, but everyone. Regardless of the field that you're in. If you're a doctor and you're able to create this content for people that shares what it's like, what you're going through as challenges as a doctor. There are a lot of doctors that might watch that and be like, yes, I struggle with that every day. Let me share this with my community to let them know they're not alone. Because it's that shared, when you feel that you're not alone in a certain struggle, it makes you feel that somewhat stronger because you're able to build a community of people who are going through the same thing. And you know what they say, when we come together, we can achieve incredible things.
It's true. It's true. In your opinion, Khalid, what are the most pressing issues facing, families and communities today, and how do you address them?
Issues facing families and communities?
Yeah.
It's a pretty general question. That's quite broad, but I think the thing that I see that's probably one of the biggest challenges is we're now in an era where everything is being shared.
True.
And we are always seeing the end product. So we're seeing someone's happiness, someone's money, someone's wealth, someone's amazing trips, someone's beautiful end look, someone's new whatever it is. But we're not seeing what led up to it.
True.
So I think we're in an era of constant comparison of other people. And you know what they say, that comparison is the thief of joy.
True.
So for me, I think that's one of the things that social media has done. It's like you're opening, and whether you like it or not, maybe you're very disciplined. Maybe you give yourself half an hour on social media a day, but you open up that phone, you see someone announcing a successful deal, someone building their new house, someone, and you for me as a father, I might think, am I doing enough? Am I working hard? But then I just realized but then you have to step back and realize they're just posting that one moment.
True. Nobody knows what's behind that.
Nobody knows what's behind it or what they went through or at what this all came, but at what cost. So I think that the hardest thing facing families and communities today is this consistent comparison with other people. And because of that, you always feel like you're playing catch up, you're not doing enough, you're not good enough. But I always tell people to step back. For me, what's important every single day is, someone asked me on a recent podcast, like, who's your nemesis? Like, who's your person you're challenging?
True.
Who's your person that you're trying to beat? Who's your person that you're trying to, I'm like, no one. He's like, then who? I'm like, well, the person I was yesterday. That's the only person I'm trying to be better than. I want to look back yesterday and be like, did I become better today? Did I do something that made me better today? And I'm not talking about completely like I scrolled on social media for 3 hours. No, but the next day I didn't do any social media. I read a book for 5 hours. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, it's these little improvements.
True.
Every single day. And if I've gone better than the person I was yesterday, then that's it. Because again, you have to look at the future and think, okay, when I look back on my life, what's going to matter most? That I made better videos than this person? It's not going to mean anything. But if I look at the end of my life and saw that I was getting better every day, that I was overcoming my own personal challenges every day, that I was trying to make my weaknesses strengths every day, then it's a life that I can look back and be proud of, because it's also a life that I'll know I had peace of mind.
True.
Because if you're trying to be rich, I swear to you, you'll always find someone richer. If you're trying to be masculine, whatever, buff, whatever it is that you're trying to be, like, I'm talking about myself as a man, but like, I'll always find someone who's doing better than me in that specific category if you really look hard enough. So for me, that's why I made the promise that I won't compare myself to other people, but I'll always try and be better than the person I was yesterday.
Absolutely. Like, again, well said. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How do you stay motivated and positive? Despite we also see a lot of negative side of social media. There's a lot of negativity on social media as well. But how do you manage to stay positive amongst all these things?
Work, man. Like, you have to work through things. Like, for me, it's like, if you're working, then where's the time to be negative? I've always thought about things like that, right? So for me, like, if there's a negative situation that I'm facing at work, okay, then get to work. Then work on that problem. If there's a shoot that's not going well, okay, guys, what do we need to improve on this? If I'm not feeling that good today, go to the gym. Like, I go to the gym, I go play tennis, I go work out. Work for me personally, work is the solution. Sitting idly and thinking a problem's going to go away and overthinking it, or trying to think a negative situation and just find its way out of your life, for me, that's never the solution. Mm-hmm. For me, I always believe that we can outwork our problems. Mm-hmm. I always believe that we can, be better than our problems. I always believe that if we do enough, that we can look back and be like, wow, that was a non-issue, and I'm stronger than that. But I also believe that when we look at life, or if you look back on your life, even sitting in front of me today, all those negative situations, all those things you worried about, what was the point, right? True. Like, hold on, I was really worried about that. But then, one, it either didn't happen, or two, I worked through it. Because you're sitting here right now, you're proof. So why worry? It's like that famous Shah Rukh Khan quote where he's like, don't worry, it will all be okay in the end.
True.
And if it's not okay, then it's not the end.
True.
So I live by the elements of that quote, and I really believe that we can work through our problems, and at the end, everything will be okay.
Right. What advice do you want to give to the younger content creators? To how do they make a positive impact? What's the advice that I can give them?
Make sure that whatever you're creating, that 20 years, if 20 years go by, that you won't look back and regret it. And I don't mean regret as in, oh, it was cringy, or, oh, I wish, I'm talking about like, I wish I hadn't done that because it doesn't look good.
Okay.
Anyone can get millions of views, but at what cost?
True.
At cost of who you are as a human being, at cost of your self-respect and dignity. For me, I would say do work that you can look back on in 20 years and be proud of. Be like, look, it wasn't the best quality because I didn't have I look back at some of my edits. I'm like, oh my God. Like slow motion that's blurry because I didn't have the right frame rate and all that stuff. So, but for me, I believe that the story was good. I believe the intention was good. And what I was trying to do was good.
There's no regret, basically.
There's no regret. I wish I had a better edit, but that's the limit of it. I don't look back and go, that was embarrassing, and I was only doing that for views.
Right.
And I don't need to say it on camera. We know the type of things that we're talking about.
True.
People doing stuff that's very borderline, So for me, it's, if you're young, don't have any, and the internet, there's a digital footprint, right? Don't have things that you're going to look back or people can use against you. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do work that you're proud of, and do work that, impacts people. Because at the end, and when I say that, when I say do work that you're proud of, do work that impacts people, people think that you have to do this serious video.
True.
No. Like I said, let's go back to Mr. Bean, one of the greatest entertainers, Rowan Atkinson. It was, entertainers are geniuses too. Comedians are geniuses too.
Very true. It's not easy to make someone laugh.
Exactly. So there's a good way to do things. So do it that way.
True. I want to end this Q&A in one last question, and I really want to hear this from you. What is your definition of empathy? What is your definition of compassion?
Being kind to others, regardless of whether or not they're kind to you. I believe that is a superpower.
Without any expectations.
Without any expectations. I think that is the biggest superpower. Because it proves that you as a human being, you cannot be shaken from who you truly are and the positivity that you want to bring the world. If you smile at someone and they don't smile back, smile. Don't expect anything in return from anyone. Be kind regardless of how people are. Treat people well regardless of how they treat you. And I'm not saying sit there and just let someone verbally, go at you. No, move away, but don't let it shake your heart.
True.
Don't let it take your beautiful heart and, darken it. Continue to bring your light to the world. And for me, that is a superpower. It just shows your true strength, because it's easy if you are sort of like nice to someone and they're not nice to back. You'll see the next person and you won't be nice to. You'll be indifferent at best.
True.
But if you're nice to someone and they're not nice to you, then the next person, you don't know what's going to happen, and you're nice to them too. That is the ultimate superpower and one of the greatest things that you can do to change the world.
Wow, thank you so much on that. We just have a quick rapid fire session with you.
Let's
we just
go.
have limited questions on this. But okay, so the first question is, what's your go-to comfort food?
Biryani.
Okay. What's the most unexpected thing that has happened to you on your travel?
Bird flu.
Oh God. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I was bedridden for like 2 days.
Where was this?
This was during one of my trips to Dhaka when we were filming for one of the social initiatives that were happening there.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just a combination of a lot of things, and yeah, it was tough. But I've been back since, and it's been, I've loved it. So it didn't give me a fear of going back. I went there, and it was one of the best trips. Yeah.
Wow. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Muhammad Ali.
Why?
I think he was someone who stood up for his beliefs in the face of every adversity and was never shaken from who he truly was and what he believed in, regardless of what he did, regardless of what would happen to him. And it's not just what he did, but when he did it.
True.
He did it in his prime, when he had everything and he was willing to lose everything for his true beliefs. So I believe that he was strong as a human being. I believe he was one of the greatest entertainers.
No doubt.
And I believe he was one of the most impressive champions in his sport. I just imagine you watch the interviews with him and you're just blown away. Imagine having to sit and have dinner with him.
Oh my God.
Muhammad Ali, no doubt.
If your life was a sitcom, what would the title be, and who would you play in the series?
Obviously, I'd play the main character.
No.
In a sitcom.
Let's first. That's a new title first. What do you think your title should be for your sitcom?
The sitcom? Oh man, that's a tough one. What would the title of a sitcom be? Khalid. I don't know. Man. It's a tough question, man.
I really wanted Nasser to not tell you this.
Stories around the world or something like that.
Okay, who would you cast in it though?
Who would I cast in it? Shah Rukh Khan. So people watch it. What do you mean, like, who would I cast in it?
Like, who would you want to be in your sitcom? Like, who would you want? Suppose if you're making a biography of yourself, okay?
Oh,
Especially
like, who would I want to play me?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Aamir Khan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You just said Shah Rukh Khan right now.
Well, Shah Rukh Khan, obviously, people watch, but like, like, obviously, I love all those actors. I think they're all incredibly talented. But you know, I first fell in love. Like, I'm biased, so I first fell in love with Bollywood through Aamir Khan's movies.
Wow.
PK, Three Idiots.
Yes, some
I
beautiful
fell in love
movies.
with and then it just opened up the world of Bollywood to me. So I'm pretty and he did I have trouble pronouncing it. The one where he's a teacher for children with special needs.
Tare Zameen Par.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that. Like
Well,
I
that's a
don't cry.
beautiful
I don't
movie.
cry in
That's a
movies. I
beautiful
cried
movie.
in that movie, and I've just been like, I'm just a fan of him and the writing that goes into the movies that he does. So I'd probably want him to play me because he can do multiple characters as well, really well. He's like really funny, and I consider, like, I like to think that we're funny in our videos. So he's very humorous, very expressive, very diverse in his roles that he takes. So yeah, I think he'd make a great Khalid Al Ameri.
Aamir sir, if you're watching, please.
Please play me.
But on that note, thank you so much, Khalid. It was lovely and
That
entertaining.
was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.